Memorial Day and Grammar. Memorial Day is an American holiday that honors the memory of people who died while serving the U.S. military. This year, it will be celebrated on Monday, May 31st. You might read or hear about Memorial Day ceremony in the United States. The American president, for example, often gives a speech. It's today everyday grammar. We will explore the connection between Memorial Day grammar and speeches. It might sound strange to you, but ceremony can teach you a lot about the English language, particularly verbs and adjectives. Let's start our report with a part of a speech given by former President Ronald Reagan in 1984. Reagan used terms such as recall, which means to remember, and words such as valor, meaning bravery or courage. My fellow Americans, Memorial Day is a day of ceremonies and speeches. Throughout America today, we honor the dead of our wars. We recall their valor and their sacrifice. We remember we give their life so that others can live. A few verbs: honor, recall, remember play an important part in Reagan's speech. These verbs are all in the simple forms. English has several verb forms. The simple and the progressive are two of them. English speakers are more likely to use the simple form than the progressive form, particularly in speaking. So you are more likely to hear "we honor" instead of "we are honoring," or "we recall" instead of "we are recalling." Especially Reagan used what is called the simple present, the simple forms of the verb in the present. But the so-called simple present does not always line up exactly with the present time. Reagan used the simple present to describe something that is generally true about Memorial Day. He is not exactly talking about only the present moments in the time. This idea is somewhat difficult, and it raises an important issue. English verb forms, sometimes called sentences, in grammar books, do not always clearly line up with exact point in time. Another Memorial Day speech, given in 1914 by former President Woodrow Wilson, can teach us about some of the language choices American presidents often make when giving speeches. Wilson suggested that Americans are sometimes known to be careless in their choice of words. He added that it is interesting to note that there are some words about which we are very careful. As an example, Wilson said Americans use the adjective great in many different situations, but he added, there are another words Americans are very careful to use. The adjective noble. We never call a man noble who serves only himself, Wilson said. Many other American presidents have been careful in using noble in their Memorial Day speeches as well. For example, Reagan, in the same 1964 speech from earlier in this report, said the following: a grateful nation opens her heart today in gratitude for their sacrifice, for their courage, and for their noble service. Also, today's report discusses American president speeches and language choice. You can use the general ideas in many different situations. For example, think of a ceremony or remembrance in your own country. Think about what kind of verbs and adjectives speakers of the languages used in that situation. Then compare your own language to the kinds of the choice that English speakers might make. And also the idea of Memorial Day is serious. You can use some of the ideas you learned today to talk about fun, lighthearted celebrations. Think of how to use the simple present to talk about activities that usually take place on that day. and think about specific adjectives that are correct for the event. I'm John Joshua.